Hello friends, how are you? In our last class we started the topic spiritual theories of origin of life on earth. Okay, in which we discussed about the objections. We discussed about the objections on the Oppenheimer's concept of evolution or development of life on earth. Okay, in that we discuss some topics, some points according to which the Oppenheimer concept has lots of issues, and the issues was, the first one is about the energy. According to the Oppenheimer concept, the life was developed from the primordial soup. The life was developed from the primordial soup, in which the anaerobic conditions, in the anaerobic conditions, the matter, the simple compounds, the complex compounds combine and generate first living organisms. But the new research and the young scientists oppose this concept, because they said that the energy requirement to develop new organism by anaerobic respiration is not possible. It means Oppenheimer concept do not follow the laws of biophysics and thermodynamics. According to them, the laws, the Oppenheimer concept do not follow the laws of energetics and the thermodynamics. Okay. The second objection, so that was the first objection, objections of objections on Oppenheimer concept. And the first was, do not follow. It do not follow laws of bioenergetics and thermodynamics. That was the first objection. The second objection is, according to the Oppenheimer concept, the primitive environment was reducive nature, but the modern research shows that at the primitive conditions, the environment was oxygen rich. That means the second objection is about the primitive environment which was oxygen rich. So that is also objection on the Oppenheimer's concept, because according to Oppenheimer's concept, the primitive environment was less oxygen, or we can say that absence of oxygen in primitive environment according to the Oppenheimer concept. But the modern shows that that was also oxygen rich. Got it? The third objection was, according to the Oppenheimer concept, the life was created 58 million years ago. Life were created just 58 million years ago, but the modern latest research shows that the microfossils of Hadean period shows photosynthetic characters, showing the photosynthetic life, and that time was 4 billion years ago. That means we can say that we found the traces of life. We found the traces of life 4 billion years ago. And according to the Oppenheimer concept, the life was created 58 million years ago. according to Oppenheim. So if life is created just 58 million years ago, then how it is possible that we found that fossils of 4 billion years ago, which was 4 billion years ago found on the earth? So that are the three main objections on the Oppenheim's concept. When the Oppenheim concepts questions are created, then one more then the problems created that now how can we find that life is created in which way on the earth? Got it? Before discussing about that, let me discuss some points related with the creation of the life. In the starting of the chapter, in the starting of yesterday class, we said that life is not a group of molecule, not a group of molecules. It is more complex than the general laws of physics and chemistry. Got it? Now let me discuss about this life. Life at modern time, the life is based on DNA. In modern time, the life is based on DNA. And you know that what is the full form of DNA? Deoxyribose nucleic acid. It is deoxyribose nucleic acid. Got it? DNA, where it is found? It is found in the nucleus of cell. Okay? All the information, its work, if we consider the its work, then the information of functioning of the cell and the body is coded on the DNA. All the information about the working of the cell is coded, or we can say that noted on the DNA. Or in other words, we can say that the information about the functioning of the cell is stored on the DNA. Got it? So we can say that at modern time, DNA is the fundamental structure related about the development of life. Got it? Now, if we consider the how the functioning is performed in our bodies, then DNA transported the information, stored information. DNA, which is present in the nucleus, transport information into cytoplasm, in the form of RNA. In the form of RNA. RNA means ribose nucleic acid. The information which is stored on DNA transported into cytoplasm through the RNA. DNA make RNA and transfer into the cytoplasm. Okay. Here the ribosomes present in the cytoplasm works according to the RNA and prepare protein, and the protein converted into enzymes, either enzymes or also in hormones. Got it? These hormones or enzymes control the functioning of our body. They particular task perform, and the enzymes control the catalytic actions of our body. Got it? That means we can say that the enzymes or hormones, here let me discuss about only about the enzymes. By doing the catalytic actions, they control the directions of functioning of our body. That we can say that enzymes catalyze and direct all the functions of body. Here, one interesting thing is DNA is made up by protein. DNA itself made up by the protein. So that is a very interesting thing, that DNA prepare protein and protein prepare DNA. That means which thing first comes in the development of life? क्वेश्चन जो माइंड में आता है वो क्या आता है कि सबसे पहले क्या डेवलप हुआ होगा, डीएनए या प्रोटीन? इट इज द सेम क्वेश्चन दैट which comes first, hen or egg? Got it? But here the answer is totally different from the hen or egg. Initially, if we consider the development of DNA RNA, then RNA is more primitive than DNA. Initially, it is believed that initially RNA might have played the role of DNA. Initially, RNA played the role of DNA in the primitive organisms in the synthesis of protein. Got it? So we can say that RNA is more primitive than DNA. Got it? Now the questions comes again in our mind that that's okay. That is the functioning of our body. But the main questions that we consider that from where the DNA is obtained, from where the RNA is obtained, and from where these mechanisms developed in the living organisms. Many scientists believe that the various metabolic processes have evolved or developed independently before the creation of life. बहुत से साइंटिस्ट ये मानते हैं कि जो हमारी बॉडी के जो वेरियस मेटाबॉलिक प्रोसेसेस हैं, जैसे ये कि अपन ने बात की कि किस तरीके से प्रोटीन एंजाइम्स का फॉर्मेशन होता है, देयर आर thousands or we can say that millions of metabolic processes in a living organism. तो साइंटिस्ट ये बिलीव करते हैं कि ये जो मेटाबॉलिक प्रोसेसेस हैं ये लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म के डेवलपमेंट के पहले से ही क्रिएट हो चुकी थी. We can say that many scientists believe that various metabolic processes have independently developed before the birth of life or before the birth of first cell. These metabolic processes were utilized by the primitive organism to fulfill their requirement and also play a very important role in the development of life. According to this concept, we can say that the different metabolic processes like the oxidation, like the like the oxidation reduction reactions and like the protein synthesis reactions, these metabolic reactions, you can say that there are individual metabolic reactions in the nature. These metabolic reactions when combined, then the first living organism was created. Got it? So that is the modern concept of the creation of the life. Got it? Now the question still remain that where, that's okay, we can say that about like this the metabolic processes combine and make the first living organism. But the question again comes on same point, that is where that creation of life takes place, either on the earth or outside the earth. According to the operant concept, the creation of the life takes place on the earth, but as we discussed in the starting of this chapter, this class, there are lots of objections. That's why a group of scientists start to believe that first organism was not developed on the earth. A group of scientists believe that the first organism was not developed on the earth. It might came from the space. According to this, the first living cell might came from the space, to the earth, in the form of microspores. Micro means very small, spore means spore, that is a structure, a very fine structure. In normal language we can say like a sheet of. Okay, so according to them, the first life on earth came outside from the earth. It is called cosmozoic theory. Okay, the believers of that this concept was Lord Kelvin, von Helmholtz, Liebig. These are some scientists who believed on this concept. But in the 90s, that concept was developed in the 18th century. But in the 19th century, there are operant concept, and when the operant concept comes in light, we can say that implanted, then this concept is totally, we can say that, put in the backside. But when the objections on the operant concept appear, then the scientists again start to believe on this concept. Okay, in the 20th century, Vikramasinghe and lots of other scientists believed on the concept of development of life in the outside of the space. Got it? When they start to believe that life might come outside from the space, then lots of new questions comes. Okay, according to this concept, the life on earth showered in the form of the microspores at the time of Hadean era. That event, the showering of the microspores from the outer side of space to the earth takes place in the Hadean era. It is also believed that this event, that means the creation of life, originated many times and different places, and after the origin, that means development of life on the earth, it is spread in every direction of the earth. सिंपल वर्ड में बोलने तो इस कॉन्सेप्ट के अकॉर्डिंग जो माइक्रोस्पोर्स या जो लाइफ है वो आउटसाइड द स्पेस से अर्थ पर आई थी हेडियन एरा में. ओके, और ये केवल एक जगह नहीं आई बल्कि बहुत सारी अर्थ की बहुत सारी जगह पर, इवन मार्स के ऊपर भी लाइफ इसी तरह से पहुंची थी. लेकिन मार्स की कंडीशन जो है वो लाइफ के सूटेबल नहीं थी. दैट्स व्हाई वहां से वो विप आउट हो गई. लेकिन अर्थ की कंडीशंस काफी ज्यादा सूटेबल होने के कारण लाइफ यहाँ पर रिमेन रही या स्टेबल रही. और ये बहुत सारी जगह पे हुआ था ये इवेंट. अच्छा, उसके बाद वहां पर अलग अलग जो जगह पर जहां पर इवेंट्स हुए वहां पर लाइफ धीरे धीरे डेवलप होती गई और एवरी डायरेक्शन, अर्थ का जो एवरी डायरेक्शन है उसमें वो स्प्रेड आउट होती गई. गॉट इट? अंडरस्टैंड? नाउ द क्वेश्चंस still remain in our mind that now we can believe that the life comes from the space, but still we are finding the life in the outside of the space. For this purpose, sending of satellites, installation of the huge telescopes, and the study of meteors has done to find the life in the outer space. Got it? Here some of the evidences are showing that it might be possible that life present outside the space, and in which the one of the most important that is study of meteors. Meteors, when the study of the meteors is done, then we find some organic chemicals like the citric acid, in these meteors. Got it? This new research supporting the concept of the life which comes from the outside. Okay, got it? Today's there are strong evidences. One more objection it was that a microspore, how can it travel along with the meteor? That was a question. Modern time research shows that there are lots of microspores which are able to emerge out from the atmosphere, and can travel the space and can travel into space, and also they can land from one place to another. So that evidence is supporting the spiritual theory, that means cosmozoic theory, in which according to which the life comes from the outside of the space. Got it? Understand? But still this concept has lots of objection, because we didn't find any sign of life in the outside of the space. Still we are research about it. We are exploring our solar system and beyond our solar system, but still there is a question mark on the theory of cosmozoic theory of origination of the life on Earth. Got it? About the species, about the fossils, we will discuss in next class. Hope you like it, understand it. Thank you.